All right there. On the street I grew up, there was a whorehouse, brothel, or as it was known at the time, knocking shop. There were some beautiful women there. Maria, Christine, this fantastic leggy blonde. It was run by, the madam was called Sylvia. There was an old granddad figure there who wore a red beret. I think they were Polish descendant, the whole family. And there was the taxi driver, the bloke that would take ladies out. If you could either visit there or they'd do home deliveries, so to speak. And as kids, me and a couple of the other lads from the street, we'd go around the back alleys and look in the window and see these beautiful women, and in a largely unglamorous sort of Dartford life, it was quite the thing to see beautiful women in all their lingerie and makeup. It was quite unlike the rest of the environment. So add that to me seeing documentaries on the telly about Covent Garden. It was Covent Garden that first drew me to central London. And the first time I went up there, it was a red bus Rover, 60p. You could use any red bus. I'd get the 96, I'd bunk school, get the 96 from outside Dartford Library. That would get me to Woolwich. That would take about an hour and a half. And then at Woolwich, I'd get the 53 to Trafalgar Square. That would take about an hour and a half. Maybe a bit longer, so about 3 or 4 hours, and I'll be dropped off at Trafalgar Square. So I want to go to Covent Garden. I've seen all these documentaries about Covent Garden. I've asked the cab driver. I'm 11 years old, maybe a bit younger actually, 10 or 11. And he went, "You want to go to Covent Garden?" I went, "Yeah, the market." He went, "All right, you need to go blah blah blah." I think it was 9 Elms. So I've got my red bus Rover, 60p. That's half my pocket money. Well, more than half. 60% of it, I got £1. So I had 40p left, which I think I bought an apple with. And I've got on this bus and ended up at Covent Garden Market. And it was rubbish. It was just a fruit market. And of course, there's two Covent Gardens. There's Covent Garden, an old Covent Garden, which is in the West End, which is where all the street performers are, all the exciting stuff that I'd seen on telly. So once I got to the market, the wrong one, and I was like, "Excuse me, I thought there was street performers and things." They went, "Yeah, you want the other Covent Garden." Jumped on a bus all the way back there, got to Covent Garden, amazing. I was already into conjuring, I was into little magic tricks and that. Apologies, the girlfriend called. So I got back to the actual Covent Garden, all the street performers, crowds of people, amazing, just what I saw on telly. And as I was wandering around, I've slowly wandered out. I've gone down Long Acre, I've gone down towards Cambridge Circus, and I've crossed over Cambridge Circus, and once you cross over, that's Charing Cross Road, you're in Soho, and that changed everything. Soho in those days, this is about 1984, amazing, just clip joints, brothels, girly bars, and the clothes that people wore around that area were amazing. Eccentrics, English eccentrics, and everywhere I looked there was just information that I'd never seen before, and I was just absorbing it all. And I spent about 7 hours just walking around Soho, blagged a free cup of tea out of some shop, and just a wonderful time. And I knew then, because I noticed that above the shops and all the exciting stuff and the buzz, and remember, I've come from Dartford, fucking Dartford, and now I'm in the West End, I'm in West 1, I'm walking up Old Compton Street, I'm turning up into Frith Street, Bar Italia, and this is like a different world. And I thought, I want to live there because I noticed above the shops, above all the excitement and the eccentrics and the life that felt like it was living, There were houses, there were flats. People lived there. And I was like, what the fuck? You can live here? You can live here? That doesn't seem likely. That doesn't seem like... it's just, this is just too good. And at that age, I thought I'll live there one day. And I did. I finally moved in. I got my first flat in Soho when I was about 35. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I just got clean for the first time since I was a teenager. You know, 15 years on the smack. And suddenly I had a successful business, clean. I was getting bespoke suits made, handmade shoes, lording it up around Soho, getting to know the village. Soho's a village. The best time to be in Soho when you live there is Saturday and Sunday morning. My walk from my house to Bar Italia, hello Chris, hello, sit and chat with someone here and there, stop and talk to this person, and you just know people. Bliss. And then after a while, I think I lived there, I don't know, 10 years or something. I'd been drinking there since I was about 23, because I was writing a film script. I wrote a screenplay for some... Yeah, that's another story. But then I finally left and moved out to Asia, which is where I am now. I'm in Cambodia. And so everyone's been telling me lately, oh, you've got to see this movie, you've got to see this movie, Last Night in Soho. I see your house on it, I see your flat on it, I see that you'll love it. So I watched it. And the story is, a girl who's obsessed with the 60s, whose mother killed herself and she sees visions of her mother, goes to central London, to Soho, to become a fashion designer.
Baby, you don't know what you're saying.
So what brings you down then?
I'm studying London College of Fashion.
Room is on the top floor.
It's perfect. I love it.
But she has visions and she becomes engaged in something that happened in the past, and for totally unexplained reasons she keeps tapping into this past, and she thinks that she's got this alter ego in the past, and it turns out it's not actually her, it's someone else, and all the white men are arseholes, and there's a black man who saves her, sort of, but nearly dies.
Last night, I saw something in my dreams.
And it's rubbish. It's rubbish. Now, at the start of it, lovely to see loads of shots of Soho, but this is what movies like this do, you know. I'm so bored of Soho films. The King of Soho came out a couple of years ago about Paul Raymond and his porn empire. And documentaries, ooh, Soho. And so while it was nice and quite nostalgic, you know, I named every place that I saw, and I did, for the first time since I've left, I did start really missing it and thinking, oh, I remember I had quite the time in Soho.
There was a girl.
And you are?
Sandy.
But the film, you can't identify with this character because you don't know why is she, what is this going back to the past lark? You never find out why she does. Is she some kind of, don't even know what she could be some kind of, nothing's explained, and as the movie progresses you give less and less shits about her.
I can see people, places, things others can't.
This is the closest most people ever get to their dreams.
it's so far away from anything you can identify with. You're not like, oh, I hope this turns out right, because you're like, well, this is all pie in the sky children's stories. It's like a modern day adult child fairy story. There you go. That's exactly what it is. This is horror for millennials. And it becomes a horror movie. It's blood, gore, people going, nothing really explained, no resolution, nothing learned.
I don't want to do this.
You think you can just walk away?
It really happened.
What did you see?
I mean, I feel like the whole movie is sold on Soho. Yeah, Soho. And what you're actually getting is a weak, badly written story that you can't identify with or care about anyone involved at all.
I have to stop him.
Where are you going?
Now, the performances are pretty good. The lead character's pretty good at pulling off her not same, different, other, her, past, future.
You're gonna have to be more specific, love.
You can't save me.
So, marks out of 10, don't watch it. Ta-da!
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, ma ci sento a dolcino d'amor.